7 tip of the week.
Hello, I'm Brad Schumacher with Cap 7 International. Today we're going to talk a little bit about getting yourself set up for a proper sprint. For me specifically, I like to line up with my head against the back of the rope. I say that specifically because it makes sense to me. I can get my hips really up on high on the surface. I can monitor what the referee's doing. I can anticipate when they're going to blow the whistle. As soon as the whistle is blown, hopefully I've already started my movement prior. I immediately know my stroke count to the halfway point. If it's a 25-meter course, if it's a 30-meter course, if it's a 25-yard course. And typically for me, I'll do 5 strokes really quickly, head down, sometimes 7 if it's a 30-meter course. Then I'll pop my head up just to check to see if the other person is sprinting. If they're not sprinting, of course, I'll just shut it down and win the sprint. If they are sprinting, I'll again put my head down for a couple strokes and then pop my head up at the last second. A lot of the times too, I'm always looking at what the ball is doing, and I got my head up when I'm even with my head down swimming. So in case the ball bounces or something, it's a little off center. The most important thing though is to be in a good body position. Now, we're gonna have Wolf do a couple sprints in this position specifically.
Okay, so Brad certainly knows what he's talking about. He was doing a sprint trial against the fastest person in the world in the 100-meter freestyle, the fastest swimmer, and Brad won the sprint easily. I watched that. So water polo players in a sprint are faster than any swimmer. You could get Michael Phelps out here, put him over there, and I'd beat him in a sprint to the ball.
100 out of 100 times.
Because of the first thing you're thinking about is your legs, like Brad talked about. You have your body position in a split position. You've got one arm that's going to do a half stroke, and the other arm's going to do a full stroke. You don't want to have both your arms out front because you don't want to have to do a full stroke. You're not going to be as efficient to get the momentum going. So I'm just going to get in this position. I'm going to do a strong breaststroke kick. My legs are curled up as much as they can be. I'm going to take the half stroke with my left hand and a full stroke with my right hand. 5 strokes, head down, as fast as I can go.
Now we're going to talk about the second position that I see quite often in water polo, which for me personally, it doesn't make sense, but for some people, they believe that going over their hips and exploding over their hips is faster than putting your hips behind you. So typically in this situation, the player lines up with their hips facing the ball at halfway or facing the referee, and they snap over their hips, cover ground, and use a breaststroke kick to get going. I don't necessarily think this is the best way, but it's another way if you're really strong at going over your hips that you can attack the sprint. A couple of reasons why I don't like this particularly is, first of all, it's kind of an awkward position. It makes me think of being at a track meet and starting backwards. It just is counterintuitive to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. But for a lot of people who do this and they're successful at it, they lean their head on the rope. The other thing that they'll do is they'll hide their hand behind the rope. And so as they're going, they'll get an extra shove off the rope to go over their hips. So it's another way. Try both ways. I'll tell you I was pretty successful with my technique starting with my head facing that way, but there's always another way to try it, and you should work on it and practice it and do what best suits you.